Hi, I'm Kevin Hotaling, and my passion is politics. Not the soap opera that we see on TV, but finding good policy. And unfortunately, the way that most people see politics right now is that our side is really rational and makes good decisions, and their side is a bunch of oafs who can't figure out what the hell's going on. So looks can be deceiving, unfortunately. This long hair in front of you actually went to military school, and then promptly spent the next decade arguing against central authority. And I thought I was going to save the world with just a little good debate, but as it turns out, saving the world really is more about getting laughed at and, occasionally even yelled at. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and my presentation is about the conclusions that I found from that inquiry. If you're not too interested in politics, unfortunately some people aren't for some reason, these apply to all relationships, so the problems and solutions we'll talk about are important for everything. You'll notice that he's actually losing before he opens his mouth. Now, this is because he got the crazy notion that there's some sort of rational sequence where we start with an open mind, collect some data and information, and then draw real conclusions from that. That doesn't happen. To learn about why that didn't happen, I went to Stefan Molyneux, a philosopher who collected a bunch of neuroscience, and the next few slides I owe to him. As it turns out, when we have these supposed rational conversations, it should be that the cerebral cortex is lighting up. Instead, it's actually the amygdala, the emotional center, that really drives these. Now, why does this happen? Well, from a very early age, we're pushed into believing that our identity is associated with certain ideologies. If you attack my identity, you're attacking my ideology, you're attacking my identity, and therefore I should either fight or flight as dictated by behavior science. Now, the Democrats actually are a little better than Republicans, but don't get too excited because the independents still have this fight or flight mechanism, a little bit better, but everybody's not doing so well. My favorite study was one where they actually shocked people's fingers and then asked them why they moved their finger, and they all had a great rational explanation of why they had done so. Apparently, we're really good at coming up with excuses for involuntary actions. So what really happens here is that we get some sort of brain damage, we have this rigid ideology, and then we rationalize what we've done, rather than having some rationality determining ideology. So, we've always known that people are a little more complicated than calculators, but neuroscience finally proven that. So now we need to find a solution. And that solution comes from our good friend, Marshall Rosenberg. He's, in fact, a doctor of clinical psychology, not a patient. And he's come up with this great thing called nonviolent communication. And it's all based on the idea that from our very early childhood, we've been taught about authority and right versus wrong and good versus evil and me versus you. And when we have those conflicts, then we stimulate that amygdala again, and we want to avoid that by coming first to common grounds, where it's not me fighting against you, but where do my needs coincide with yours? And once we've paved that road, we can get together and come up with real solutions. Obligatory Totoro, he mentioned in an interview last month that we don't have real listening, but it's not just listening to the other side. It's not just what, it's listening to why they care about something. So what's the problem? Our ideologies and egos are intertwined, and therefore when we're challenged, we act to protect them, as we've done for the last God knows how long. And we can fix this by starting with a self-awareness, understanding that we too have some of these inclinations. We're not quite perfect. Once we've identified our needs, we can work with other people. And if we really look at it this way, I think you'll be surprised there's a lot more alike than dislike. And finally, let's have fun with it. If we take ourselves less seriously, then we're probably going to get a lot more done. And go Ducks, or turkeys. Thank you. I'm Kevin Hotaling.